Welcome back to the Filipino FM channel, your home for Filipino Football Manager content. Today, we are looking at the most signed players at each position in Football Manager 2023, putting them all in one team, and we're going to simulate 10 seasons forward to see how they all play together. So, Football Manager recently released a post showing who the most signed players at every position are, and they put them in a 4-2-3-1 formation. So this is what all those players look like as a starting 11. Diego Costa in goal, Livramento, Silva, Scalvini, and Vardiol in the back line. Rice, Bellingham, Bardij, and I don't actually know how to pronounce his name. So if anyone knows how to pronounce it, let me know in the comments. So I apologize for absolutely butchering both Bardij and Shelderup. But we also have Scott in the middle for the midfield, and then Osimhen up top. I've stuck them all on Bournemouth in the English Premier Division. Bournemouth is predicted to finish 20th at the beginning of the 2022 season. So I think this will give us a good indication of how well they will do. I've also made myself the manager so that they have to play this starting 11. And again, looking at the starting 11, it is a really good team, and it's a team with a ton of potential. Diogo Costa in goal is fantastic. He's only 22 years old, but even if we look at his current ability, he's already 155 current ability, going to 174 in my game. He is absolutely insane. Livramento unfortunately starts the game injured, so that is going to potentially hamper his development. However, another really good looking player with a ton of potential ability on him. Silva and Scalvini in the middle are again excellent players. Silva is only 18 years old and he is already 140 current ability going to 170. Scalvini again, just an 18-year-old, 135 going to 178. These are really good players. Vardiol already is an excellent player. He has wonderful physical attributes. He starts the game at 148 current ability and he's going to 170 as well. I mean, all of these players are excellent. Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham, I don't think I need to click on those two players. I think we know how good they are. Um, I don't know how to pronounce it. Bargi, I think. He is just 16 years old, and he actually starts the game at FC Copenhagen, but he's already made a few appearances for them, and he 120. He's only going to 149. I actually thought he was going to be a little bit better than that. I believe he has a potential ability range, so I think this is on the lower end of his potential ability range. Shelderup is another great player. He has excellent technical attributes that are only going to get better. Excellent dribbling, excellent first touch, passing technique, and off the ball movement. He struggles a little bit with his stamina, strength, jumping, reach, and balance. I think that's something, if you guys have him, that's going to be something that you may want to train individually, but he will also grow into his pace, acceleration, and agility into a great all-around player. He's 133 going to 160 there. Alex Scott, I think he is probably, if you're in England, as far as being a homegrown player, this is a player that if you're in the Premier Division, I think everyone should go for Alex Scott. He is going to be an excellent player, but he's also an excellent player now. In my game, he's going to 174, which I believe is on the higher end of his potential ability range. But he's going to have excellent physicals, already has really good mentals, and pretty decent technicals. At just 18 years old, he is right in that sweet spot for development, and he is going to improve massively. And finally, do we need to say anything about Victor Osimhen? Fantastic pace, good jumping reach, great acceleration, good finishing, excellent off the ball movement. This is a player who can rival Erling Haaland for the Golden Boot every single season in the English Premier Division, and he's only 23 years old. So these are the most signed players in Football Manager 2023, all in one team. So I've simulated 10 seasons to see how they're going to do. I'm not sure how they're going to do right away. All of these players have a ton of potential ability, and they could all, if they reach their potential, could be in Champions League winning sides. But a lot of these players have a long way to go. A lot of them are just teenagers. I mean, our center backs are pretty much teenagers, right back, as well as kind of our front three here. Our front four are all very young. So other than Osimhen, Bellingham, Rice, Vardiol, Costa, so we probably have 5 really well-established players in the side, but the rest of the team is definitely on the lower end of their potential at the moment, and they have a long way to go. So we're going to simulate forward one season. I'm not sure how Bournemouth is going to do in this first season. I could see them maybe being a mid-table or mid-table side, but definitely 3 seasons down the road, I'll be expecting Bournemouth. With this team, this is a Champions League team in the future. So again, I'm going to simulate forward one season to see how these players do, and we'll see in a little bit. Welcome back. We are one season into the future in 2023. Clearly, all of the players are developing good relationships with each other. And fortunately, we also have Livermento coming back from his injury. So it looks like he's doing well there. Let's look and see how Bournemouth did in the league. And I'm going to bet from making the Europa Conference League that they did pretty well. Seventh place is actually 65 points in seventh place. That's actually a lot better than I thought they were going to do in their first season. That is for a young up and coming side. That is really good. Let's look at the awards to see if maybe they won any of the young player awards. No surprise seeing Mo Salah win Footballer of the Year, Young Player of the Year, Erling Haaland. No surprise there. And did Osimhen maybe? And Osimhen won the Golden Boot. All right, 34 goals. That's huge. And he beats out Erling Haaland by 9 goals, nearly 10 goals. I'm surprised that Osimhen wasn't actually in the running for Player of the Year. So there you go. If you sign Osimhen right off the bat, I mean, he could win you a Golden Boot. Let's look at the players and see how they developed kind of in one season. Diego Costa's looking excellent. He 165 current ability. He's made a huge improvement towards his potential. 6.87 rating, 48 goals conceded overall. I mean, a solid season there. Looking at Livermento, he would have had a tough first season. He was out for, I believe, 9 to 10 months. As we can see, he didn't make a lot of progress towards his current ability, but that's not, or towards his potential ability. That's not a huge surprise there. But he will be available. He made 16 total appearances, not too bad. Not a great average rating. I would suspect that he needed quite a few games to work up to his fitness levels. So a player that you can still buy in the first season, but don't expect him to be there for every match. Silva looks like a fantastic player. He's already 151 current ability. Not a great average rating, 6.82, but still pretty solid there. How about his center back partner, Scalvini? Oh, wow, he looks like a good player. 153 current ability. He's fantastic. Only a 6.87, though. I'm a little surprised there. Vardiol's another one who's excellent. Oh, he's got a little bit worse. 158 current ability. Still pretty good, though. 6.98, not too bad. As far as development is concerned, I think we want to see our 3 players here. So looking at Bargi, he has developed very well. 138 going to 149, so he's getting closer to his. Wow, I'll tell you what, 13 goals and 12 assists. That is a fantastic season. 7.08 overall rating. I'll tell you what, even at only 138 current ability, he had a wonderful season. Let's look to see how Shelderup did. He has developed pretty well, 136 going to 160. Not quite as good as Bargi, but still 6 goals, 8 assists. I mean, very good seasons. And Alex Scott, now 19 years old, he's developing well, 145 going to 174. 13 goals and 9 assists. This team must have scored a ton of goals. Overall, I would say that front 3, I mean, even from really early on, they are contributing very well to Premier Division sides. And of course, Victor Osimhen was absolutely nuts. 34 goals, 6 assists, 7.44 overall rating. I mean, he's definitely a player that you want to sign. Well, that was season 1, a team full of the most signed players in Football Manager, making it into the Europa Conference League with Bournemouth. I think we'll go to the 5th season of this simulation, and we'll see how they're getting on at the halfway point. See you in a little bit. Welcome back. We are in 2027 at the halfway point of the save. Let's see how Bournemouth did last season. So Bournemouth finished 9th last season, but actually made the UEFA Europa League. And City dropped really far down. That's highly unusual. Brighton finishing 2nd. Wow. Some interesting happenings in the Premier League there. But last season finishing 9th, the season before finishing 13th. That's a little disappointing. The season before that making the Champions League. Wow. And then the season after when we saw last finishing 14th. Interesting. Let's look at the squad and see how they're doing there. So the squad still looks about the same. Diego Costa, Livramento, Silva and Scalvini clearly developing really well. Alex Scott developing really well. Let's look at some of the players, their current abilities. Diego Costa has essentially reached his current ability and he's put in some pretty good seasons. Livramento on the right, some pretty solid career statistics. He seems to have bounced back well from his injury. He's gotten up to 150 current ability. I don't know if Livermento in this edition of the game will reach his current ability or reach his potential ability, excuse me, just because I feel that that injury may have hampered his development quite a bit. Antonio Silva, he's fantastically developed in 5 seasons. He's had some solid overall seasons there. Scalvini, also, wow, he's wonderful. He's reached his potential ability as well. He's put in some decent seasons. Vardiol, also just about at his potential ability. He's played pretty well at wingback. Looking at Declan Rice, I mean, he's pretty much at his potential ability there. He's a great looking player. He's playing as a ball winning midfielder, so it's no surprise that Declan Rice doesn't have hugely great average ratings. Bellingham looks absolutely fantastic. He is at his potential ability. I actually expected Bellingham to have a little bit higher of an average rating. I guess he is playing a little bit deeper though, but contributing nicely with some goals and assists each season. Bargy looks very good. He has reached his, I think he plays higher than his current ability. Double-digit goals each season, 20 assists in 2024-25. He's fantastic. I'll tell you what, even with a lower current/potential ability than maybe we're seeing, I think he's been kind of the underrated performer of this save. Alex Scott looks absolutely amazing. He has fantastic mentals, really good physicals, and solid technicals. He's a really good player. He is definitely on his way to his potential ability. And other than maybe one season where he didn't perform so well, he's actually kind of done every other season, but clearly he has been really, really good each season almost. Next we have Sheldrup. Again, I think his physicals could use a little bit of work, especially that stamina and strength. But technically, he is a wonderful player. His team hasn't really developed a whole lot. I'm surprised he's playing every game. I'm not really sure why he hasn't developed a whole lot, but he's still played pretty well, getting solid numbers for goals and assists each season, solid overall rating. But yeah, I think I was expecting him maybe to do a little bit better. And finally, we have Victor Osimhen, who's he's fantastic. And he is scoring a huge number of goals every season, 34, 31, 34, 25, 23. I'll be curious to see whether he's won the Golden Boot or how many Golden Boots he's won, I should say. Looking at Bargy, he's actually won 2 Young Player of the Year awards. And again, I think he plays well above his current ability. He is a fantastic player. He's won the Young Player of the Year award in 2024-25 and 2026-27. But looking at the top goal scorer award, Victor Osimhen's won it twice, only losing out to Erling Haaland, but finishing second each time. If you are on a good team, like on a title contender team, I think Victor Osimhen's the guy to get. I was also curious to see how Bournemouth did in that Champions League season. It looks like they ended up losing to Capitoline from Italy in the Champions League round of 16. That might be a little bit disappointing, but it's not a huge surprise. The way I have it, there's no rotation inside, so I'm sure the players are really tired. And maybe that's why they're struggling with European competition. But overall, I would say making the Champions League is a pretty solid performance. And that being said, Bournemouth still hasn't won any other trophies, so we'll see if we can add to that in the next 5 seasons. So with that, let's go forward to season 10 and see how we conclude this save. Welcome back. We are 10 years into the future in 2032. Let's see how Bournemouth did at the end of 10 seasons. Well, the first bit of news is that Bournemouth won the Carabao Cup. It was the only trophy won during this time span, but still a trophy looking at the past winners. Oh, they actually won it this past year against Man City. Okay, let's look at the schedule and see how that happened. So going up to the Carabao, a 5-4 victory. Wow. 5-4 victory in extra time over Man City. Alex Scott, Shelderup, and Osimhen. with 4 of the goals. I think that says a lot about the quality of the players that is in this team. And looking at the players, some of them are definitely in their primes. Scott, Shelderup, Bargi, pretty much everyone here except maybe Osimhen. Osimhen at this point is 33 years old, and we're definitely seeing that pace go down, which is still excellent, but it's definitely not as good as it was. And his current ability has dropped quite dramatically compared to at the start. But I'll tell you what, even at that stage, he is still putting in fantastic goal scoring seasons. I mean, other than this 14 goal season right after we saw him previously, he hasn't dipped below 20 goals per season for Bournemouth. So even at 32, 33 years old, Victor Osimhen is a fantastic player. Gelderup has definitely developed into the player that he was meant to be. He is almost at his potential ability, but his technical attributes are wonderful. I actually didn't realize that his technical attributes developed this much. His physical attributes end up, I think, getting to a point to where he's kind of serviceable, but those technical attributes are really excellent. And that has translated into some much better seasons more recently. 2028, 29 onward, 11 goals, 7 goals, 17 goals, and 11 goals. He is looking like a really good player at this point in time. I don't even think we need to say anything about Alex Scott. He is a phenomenally well-rounded player. He has reached his potential ability, and especially in the last 5 seasons, those average ratings are really excellent. Can we say the same for Bargi? Again, he has wonderful attributes. He reaches his potential ability. So he had a little bit of a dip as far as his goal scoring is concerned, but in the last couple of seasons, I think he's found that spark back again, and wonderful as far as his assisting is concerned. So even though he kind of had a dip in goal scoring, his goal contributions were still phenomenal throughout the save. I don't really think we need to say anything about Bellingham and Rice. They're fantastic players. I'm really curious to see about Scalvini, Silva, and Livramento, though, especially because we saw at 5 years into the future that Livramento's development had been hampered a little bit. But again, Scalvini's wonderful, just as we saw previously. He is at his potential ability. And he's had some solid seasons. Maybe he hasn't been as good as I thought he was going to be, but still some solid seasons there. Silva, again, developing wonderfully. He's also had some solid seasons, maybe a little bit better than Scalvini. Did he reach his potential ability? Absolutely, he did. And finally, let's look at Livramento, because I think maybe he didn't quite reach. Yeah, I didn't think he quite reached his potential ability. 155 is still a really good right back, still a really good Premier Division right back. But I think that injury at the start might have hampered him. Maybe he never really settled into the squad that well. And I mean, decent seasons from him, but I would say he never really excelled. I think he was always decent. So let's see where Bournemouth finished in the last 5 seasons. 6th place in the previous season and winning a Carabao Cup is a fantastic performance there. 6th place again the previous season. They did drop as low as 12th, 7th, and 9th. So Bournemouth ended up doing pretty well. They were always kind of an upper mid-table side, I think, having a few seasons where they dipped below. But overall, the most signed players in Football Manager were an excellent team, enough to drag Bournemouth up the league into the UEFA Champions League even at one point. And overall, I think we all know this, but the player of the save is Victor Osimhen. If you're going to sign one player from the most signed 11, I think Victor Osimhen is that guy. So with that, that is the most signed players in Football Manager 2023, all in one team, and how they did over 10 seasons. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you all are having a wonderful week, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.